Welcome back to Streamline Entertainment. So many Streamline messages. I kept my word. I said that I'd put all the messages out there. Thank you very much for the support, because it was a very dramatic day yesterday. And it seems like to me, when I thought about it last night, because I've lost my voice a little bit watching the football. Well done to Spurs, a team that I've supported as a boy, and they've won their first trophy in 70 years. So I was very, very happy with that. Got the day off today. So I'd want to go through all the messages, but wow, what a day of just drama yesterday. It really, really was. And it sounded like Debbie still wants answers and still wants the truth about what happened to her son. I think there's probably a lot more she wants to clear up, but I'm sure that'll come out in time. Atlantic Blue, haven't heard from you for a while. Jay's half-brother is called Joss Joseph. That is very, very interesting. I do think that this guy said this, Joseph has said that he met Jay on the plane going out there. So I just don't think it's family. Thank you very much for that. Debbie Fox, he said they have a marker on me, so he knew they were after him. Then he was pointing towards his sunglasses, meaning he was being watched. Mama D did a great video on that, Marvin. Yeah, I remember her talking about it. To be honest, Debbie, I've been so busy that it's sometimes hard for me to catch up with other videos, and that's why this inspirational Ali Harris sometimes helps me out. And also other people as well who are brilliant in giving me information. But like I said, I'm back. I'm going to put more time into looking at this, because like I said, I just think that if we keep pushing, we'll get all the answers to Jay and hopefully some convictions, people. Debbie Fox, hi Marvin, Ali, hope you're both well. We are fine. Ali's, I think she was a little bit ill not long ago, but she's back now and really back on in getting all the information that we need. Much respect to her, because like I said, just as much as me, she wants justice for Jay Slater. We've got a lot more coming with Ali, and lives coming over the weekend as well. Lisa Griffiths, thank you. You're welcome. Thank you very much for subscribing, Lisa. PJM, how you doing? Streamer 773, Marvin, just curious as to what you look like, but don't know your full name to Google you. PJM, like I said, I've done this as a non-vigil, because I talk about a lot of high-profile cases. One of my good friends was a private investigator as well. I have got in investigations, basically business as well. So I do like to stay private, because myself and Ali and many other people in the team do talk about high-profile cases. So thank you very much indeed. But I am out there, but appreciate you. Thank you, PGM, for your support. Crazy Cat, they have got to catch them at first. They all gone into hiding, but are watching every word, getting sad online and via the news. And do you know what, Crazy Cat? They were so spiteful, the other side, so nasty, in that like Duncan said, you just can't have a decent conversation with them. They want to twist things. They want to, try and F your head up to get their points across. They're control freaks. They're not good people, and their mentality is completely different from ours. Thank you, Crazy Cat. We're all behind you, Debbie, Warren and Zach. Yes, we are. That is perfectly said, Crazy Cat. Only one Marge. What if the children, this is on the missing children, Lily and Jack people. What if the children got up and left the home to take themselves to the bus stop on Thursday, not knowing there was no school that day, and the parents being totally unaware what the little ones were doing, say because they were sleeping in bed and didn't notice. So the kids waited at the bus stop, no bus came, but someone else, not a good person, came, drove past up to them and offered them a lift to school. Innocent children don't think like adults, so I'm thinking the best, etc. They could be on, it could be way off, but it was a theory, in my opinion, and allegedly. I'd hope the little ones will be found safe and well, though. Yeah, it is a bit bizarre. I just think they're out of the area. I don't want to say too much at the moment, but I just think the police are still investigating and probably know a bit more, and that's probably one of the reasons why it's gone a bit quiet. Only when Marge, it would only also explain why their scent didn't go beyond that point, and the possible holes in the timeline, and why the parents' story don't feel right. Yeah, that's brilliant. Thank you, Only One Marge. Appreciate your support there. And your message, Justice for Jay, says Millennia Doom Scroller. Thank you very much for that, and thank you for subscribing. Appreciate that. Sam goes, we have, didn't he write Debbie a letter? I'm not sure, to be honest with you, about this other friend of Jay's. I'm not sure, but what I'm going to do, I've got today off, so I'm going to look into a few things, people, but we've got a lot more videos coming up lately. I do want to put the Morocco video out with Ali. What I'll do, I have got a video somewhere, so once I finish this, people, for those who haven't seen my Moroccan video, I'm gonna replay it, okay, so you've got that to look forward to later on, and then I'll go through some points about Morocco with Ali Harris a little bit later when she's got time. Craptown goes, I don't blame her, I'm skint too, God bless. I don't think she was skint, because I think her dad's quite well off. I just think she got, this is Bella Cully, she was arrested abroad for carrying drugs. But look, I think she got in a bad group. I don't think she's a stupid girl, but hopefully she will learn from it and better her life. That's all we can say, people. But like I said, we just have to put pointers out there for young people not getting into trouble over rugs. Eric goes, they do it, have to make sure I'm free for 6 months for my daughter's inquest, and she died 29th December 2024. I told you, I thought that you had to be free for about 6 months, and they all went on holiday. Did they know something was coming up? The witnesses, your Lucy May Law, your Brads, your Brandons. Where's Ayup? Where's Rocky? Hey, we'll soon know soon. And like I said, it's going to be brilliant when they're in front of a court, or in court, should I say. Lisa Griffiths, so sorry for your loss. That's brilliant. Thank you, Erica, for your message there. Jane goes, how's Brandon Hodgson not mentioned? He has totally disappeared. Yeah, he's probably hiding behind Mummy's skirt, I'd imagine. Do you know what I mean? But I think he will have to come out, and they'll have to question him. One Canleon, how on earth did they match a palm print to fingerprints in the UK? I'm sure in the UK don't take palm prints, or am I wrong? Look, there's a lot of, Leanne, there's a lot of bizarre stuff about this case which never made sense. It's a mess. That's the problem. It's a mess, and it needs to be ironed out. And I'm sure the coroner will do that. Do you know what I mean? And, but like I said, there's a lot of suspicion around this case. Jay's friends, how come not even one of them didn't attend? They're all scared. They're all running. That's the problem here. And they just all want to make money out of documentaries. Joe Jones, 2 months adjourned for. Brilliant, thank you, Joe, and thank you for support. Kathleen Lane, how you doing? He retired in June, and now he's back on the Jay Slater case. I think he's probably been asked to do it, especially probably by the family. Kathleen Lane, if it could have been Jay, his hand was underneath him, as Duncan said. Yeah, that's a good point. How can a court hearing get booked a day before? Witnesses would have had letters weeks before to turn up. Yeah, and this is why they went on holiday, to get out of there at the end of the day. And this is why it went really quiet. We got to match the two together. We haven't heard anything for 2 or 3 weeks? Josh actually said to the coroner, are you serious? Yes, he was. PGN, it said 3 crucial witnesses cannot be located. How? When they're all over social media, and if they have nothing to hide, why would they not come forward? The fact there's not says it all, really. I do also be interested to see if Lucy and Brad were investigated, how different these stories would be to the original ones. Yeah, this is what I thought. We do things properly here, and I think they're going to be shitting bricks, to be honest with you. And like I said, I honestly think that they thought they got away with it, and this was going to be just a basically closed very, very quickly, that Jay had an accident, they could move on, make some money out of these documentaries, and then move on. And nobody talks about the Jay Slater case, and there's still so many unanswered questions. Josh said, PGM, Josh said he had a picture of Jay with the knives, but deleted it, so not sure I believe that. No, I just got a funny feeling that he may be working for the other side. I've just got a funny feeling. I've just talked to a few people and I'm just a little bit suspicious. That's my view only. Margaret, he went on, she searched for Jay at start. Oh, he went on the search for Jay from the start. Okay, but like I said, does he know Rachel Hargreaves? Was he searching with her? Some red flags there. Charlene, Jay Slater admitted to stealing a 12 grand Rolex, and it was pictured with knives. 17 minutes, 19 seconds, the inquest adjourned for months. 1607, Spanish authorities recovered Jay Slater's phones. 1432, Jay Slater's 14 minutes 30 seconds. Jay Slater's mum arrives at the inquest. At 1:14. That was 2:32 there. 1:14. Jay Slater's dad and brother attend inquest. 1 o'clock. Yeah, that's brilliant. Thank you very much for that, Charlene, and thank you for your support. We move on at Charlene at an Airbnb in the village of Masca, which was being rented out by Abe Guzine and Stephen Rockus. Police have been unable to find the two men and have therefore not been able to serve summons for them to give evidence at the inquest. The coroner's office has spoken to someone on the phone who they believed was Mr. Rockus, but the person denied being him. If police have a responsibility to believe that an individual is that named on a witness summons, they can still serve it. If that person then fails to attend court, a warrant for their arrest can be issued. The coroner's has suggested that the inquest into Jay's death will likely resume in a month or two to allow for more time to locate the two men. Paper's words. Wow. This is getting interesting, people, isn't it? Really getting interesting. And like I said, we may get justice for Jay, but like I said, there's a lot to sift through and talk over in this case. And like I said, it's funny, isn't it, when we stick together and we fight tooth and nail for something we think that there was injustice about Jay being murdered, then this comes up. And like I said, I think Debbie's fighting tooth and nail. CH123, how you doing? I wonder if Baby, CT and Sluggy will go looking for Brad, Brandon and Lucy if Debbie asks. Yeah, that'll be interesting. I just don't think so. I think in their cases, is every man for themselves or every woman for themselves. I don't think they give a toss, really, when things come to it, as long as they're protecting themselves. The Josh statement is massive. It completely blows out of the water all of his so-called friends' statements. Blow out of the water the cowboy statements, and surely now is pointing to Jay's real demise. I hope they issue warrants for these folks, now liars. Brilliant. That was George Avalette. He's probably did have drugs, but he was probably spiked to top him over too. Yeah, I agree with that. I totally agree with that. Come on, Debbie. Warren and Zach, keep fighting justice for Jay. Anita, thank you. Avalette, Anita there. Jay was murdered, he didn't fall. I've always said that. Thank you very much. And like I said, we will get justice for him. Trisha, what about the video? Someone's gran said it was horrific hammer trap. Police told them to delete it. That's quite, Trisha, that's another story point about the hammer. I mean, it keeps coming into conversation, but we need more proof on it. I'm just wondering whether something will come out over the next few months about that, because like I said, it just, I know it's nasty to say, but it just seems like Jay's head was bashed in a little bit. Anita, Thank you for that, Trisha. Anita Hornsby, Josh could have been a plan to sit next to Jay because people knew what he was going to happen to Jay. That's my possibility. Once again, I think he could be working for the other side. But like I said, we don't know, but I'm just observating. It's a bit weird why he didn't say anything before. And sometimes people turn out of the blue and they could have said something months ago to help us out. None of them want to appear in court as they have to discuss the rug use dealings. The word you were looking for is subpoena. Thank you very much indeed, Layla. Joy Wing, do you think it's a guy who is in a live chat saying it was Saturday and it happened outside Papagayo's? He was adamant. The eyewitness, I don't know. No, I don't think so. I just don't think it is him, to be honest with you. I think that guy who was the eyewitness, which I'll play that video again soon, I do think that he was silenced for some reason. Maybe someone recognised his voice and told him not to talk because it was funny how he didn't come back out again. Or maybe he will. Maybe he will. I do think there's people carrying evidence on their phone who saw what happened to Jay. I do think that. Sandra Hogg, so pleased they continue. Poor Debbie, I feel her pain loss. My son at 20, so suicide to suicide. There were guys threatening him to do with rugs. Justice for Jay. Well done, guys. Yeah. Oh, that's so sad. Really sorry about that, Sandra. But thank you for supporting the channel. Oh, it's just a troll trying to change the narrative. Yeah, that's what I said. I agree, Anita. I agree with you, Anita. At the end of the day, there's some false people to try to play this case down. Joy Wing, if they are innocent of all accusations, why are they suddenly incognito and in my mind hiding away if no lies have been sown that show up to the goddamn inquest? Surely Warren and Debbie must be suspicious of all of these people avoiding being at an inquest, especially Brad, Lucy, Brandon and Debbie, your Vase friends. Rachel Suss with a capital S. Yeah, and why is Rachel and Brad on holiday? And someone said earlier that, you know, there's a 6 months where they say this case, you know, coroner's case could come up about Jay Slater, you know, try and be free. They wasn't free. So they must have thought, oh, this is just going to be a blowover. And it's not. Someone was murdered and we want to know who done it. Is Joss a real person? Look, we need a little bit more to break down. I'm going to talk to Ali Harris about it, but in my mind, question one, why hasn't he come out before and said something? Yeah, he may have been out on the search, but why 10 months later, oh, I'm going to turn up at court and tell my story? That sometimes it doesn't make sense to me. If you love Jay or he's your friend or you respect him, you know, you say things earlier. But like I said, I'm not judging him too much yet because he might have a little bit more, but I just think it's odd that he's come out of the blue. That's my point. If that was my mate, I'd just be shouting about it from day one till now, until there was some justice. Crete, Rachel, Brad, yeah, and Holiday, thank you for that. Duncan's told us that. Joy, Melanie Granger, Crete is a Greek island. Last time I checked. Yeah, I've been to Greece. It's a very, very beautiful, not that part, but it's a very, very, very beautiful place. Channel 5, the channel of the programme, the coroner does a programme on also MWT. That's interesting, KT. I'll have a look at that. Their so-called reporters doesn't even know the right words to use while addressing this case. So make me think, what else doesn't she know? Madness, yeah. Mark Warren, I thought the same. I thought they were going just to go through the motions with the hearing. I'm so glad it turned out this way so far. We may get some truth finally after all. Yeah, and a bit of a timeline as well. The inquest should subpoena all witnesses to attend, and the UK police should be present. The two workmen who say they spoke to Jay, can they speak good English or paid off to say they spoke to him? Maybe the authorities will investigate the case thoroughly. Strange chain of events. Yeah, I think a lot of it, Christine, good points there, and Mark as well. I think we've been lied to a lot. I really do. And I think Abe's put that narrative out there, and a lot of the accident crew. And, you know, the abuse we've got for asking questions was absolutely unbelievable. It hasn't stopped us, though, from going forward and trying to get justice. I've heard of Joss before. Many thanks to you both as always. Thank you, Claire. A bombshell day. It sounds to me that Jay was identified many days earlier than he was found. If they used the palm print back to Morocco again, yeah, definitely. Thank you very much for that, Claire. Leaksy and the bank transactions things as well. That shows that there was stuff happening through Jay's bank. He was being used and abused. Leaksy, was he spiked by a needle or vape? For some reason that just popped into my head. Well, I mean, he collapsed and people were looking at him. His friends looked to me completely sober. Thank you, Leaksy. Charlene, my three, I thought A up Lucy Brandon shocked with Brad one. I always thought that he knew but wasn't involved. No, I'm double guessing. But the thing is, I think Brad did know a lot more, but I think Brad was the one that told his mum everything, and then Rachel had to tell Debbie a few things. But I do think Brandon and Lucy tried to get themselves out of it and change the story a bit. But I don't think Debbie's not stupid, to be honest with you, but I just think she wants things done properly. I'm quite surprised actually she's fighting this hard, because maybe she was just biding her time. But like I said, it was funny, streamliners in public, that I did put out that she seemed very, very passionate in those questions about Jay Slater, and that's a mum who wants answers, and I truly respect her for that, because I thought she'd given up on the case, but I was far wrong, and I respect her for doing that. I thought you and Ali said he was put on a boat. Yeah, he was put on the boat after the beach. You know, you've got to look, UASBW, you've got to look at our stories from the start at the end of the day, because there was a sequence of events from Jay being carried out of the club by two dark men. We believe he then went back to the apartment, then went to the beach and was put on the Maruba. There are pictures of Abe on the boat. We believe, we haven't got a proper timeline for when that timeline was, but we believe that was when Jay was taken onto the Maruba and another boat was involved. That is my story, and I've never come away from that. Mark Warren, the way it said Joss appeared by video link sounds like he's in prison. I've never known anyone but the courts and prisons call it a video link. Really? Well, I thought he was in court, but like I said, Mark, I'll have to check that with Ali Harris on that again. Great video, Marvin. Sounds as if Brad. Thank you, Mark. Ian goes on to say, great video, Marvin. Sounds as if Brad and co aren't off scot-free. Maybe a toxicology and Jay's bank have raised some questions. Yeah. Thank you for that, Ian. Mike, how you doing? Fantastic effort to Marvin and Ali, and also all the supporters of Justice for Jay here on YouTube. I myself have spoken out with any concerns for my own life due to living in Lancashire near these murderous mobs. Everyone will be interviewed now and will get on national TV news and calling in all witnesses. This will sort these crackheads out. Thank you very much, Mike Jakes, for your support, and I know you've been pushing for heavy information. If anyone has any damning info, get it to email to Marvin. What I'll do, I'll put my email in the chat, people, okay? I thought you said that the GC dumped Jay's body just before it was found. Yeah, we do think that. I don't think that body was there for 20 odd days. I think it was put there. There are tunnels that run through the ravine. There are a lot of things, suspicious things which happened. I've always said that. You know, this is a case where we have theories, UASB, BTW, at the end of the day. And I've never come away from what I've thought. There's so much going on in this case. But like I said, I do believe that Jay was found basically in a ravine. And I do think he was put there. And I just don't believe he fell. If he did, if someone actually pushed him in there, then I think we'll find that out. But I do think at this present moment, what I think personally, I think he was put there. I think he was put there, and I do think that he was possibly kept on the Maruba in a freezer. And like I said, Mama D's covered that quite a lot of times about the Maruba, and I suggest you probably have a look at that. Dazaboy, everyone is going to have to give evidence. This will include Ophelia, etc. Christy, oh my God, never mentioned this to Electroparamedic Lively. Claimed Debbie thinks it's an accident. If she believed, she would not claim to want the witnesses spoken to. The case has again been blown open. Could justice finally be prevailed? Thank you very much, Dazaboy, for your support. Beef says, gone to party in Crete near Malia. Thank you. Jacqueline, he's going to say an accident again. No way was Jay's death an accident. Look, obviously, this was before. I think people are not going to be happy. I did think they were going to write this case off quite quickly due to what the Spanish are saying. But for some reason, the coroner wants to talk to the witnesses because there's so many unanswered questions and there's so many people lying, and it's plain to see. And this is why we want justice for Jay Slater. Dazaboy, the case is going to get interesting now with all the witnesses are to be called up. Brad, Lucy, A. Rocky, Tom, Brandon, plus so many more. I really hope that the family now can get their justice finally and those involved get punished. Thoughts go to the family and loved ones still. R.I.P. Thank you, Dazaboy. Really like your messages and your support. Charlene Treadgill, just been on the news and they said witnesses never showed up for the inquest. Yeah, it's bang out of order. If that's your friend, if that's someone you love, someone you support, and these people are gallivanting around the world, not giving a toss. And it's funny, you know, you do something bad, it comes back to haunt you. It's funny, isn't it? Dawn, hi Marvin, great video as usual. No, I don't understand why witnesses have gone missing and police not doing anything about it. Yeah, I think they will now though. Now this coroner's involved and Debbie's pushing for it. 2 people close to me witnessed an assault in the street and was called as witnesses, but due to their jobs were reluctant. The police told them, don't worry about that, you can do a video evidence and no one would know it was you or Santa Claus. Just keep these days free. Has it happened? A guilty plea went in, so they don't need to give evidence now. Thank goodness. Thank you for that, Dawn. That's interesting. Dazaboy, apparently the doctor didn't think Inquest is due for retirement next week, so this sounds like it may be her last inquest, or his last inquest, should I say. We'll see. We'll see. He might continue on. I thought personally he was finishing before, but we'll see. Wow, it's incredible, isn't it? Daniela, how you doing? Madeleine's post. I think also that pathology report could reveal something when analysing details of Jay's head injuries. Yeah, justice for Jay. Yeah, because we have heard a few things online in, you know, possibly how he died. Colette, what about the guy who got burned in the tunnel in Masca? Nothing been said about that as well. Yeah, I'm sure that was just after the Jay Slater case. That was odd. That was really, really odd. Colette, it was odd. But like I said, there's something else we will look into, see if there's more information out there about that. Daniel Kelly, justice for Jay. Thank you, Colette. Thank you, Danielle. Pink Keeper, how you doing? Ket is a suppressant and can be even more so when mixed with other drugs and alcohol. If Jay took a large quantity, surely he would be physically able to go hiking up the mountains. I've always said that for miles and miles and miles and hiking. Can't help wonder, was he spiked with this maybe to be moved somewhere, especially if it's thought he had it in his system over a long period of time. And do you know what, Pinky Puppet? It was said that he may have overdosed, and that was one of the reasons why they get rid of him, because they couldn't actually dump him somewhere where he was found and then taken to the hospital, and they realised this guy had an overdose. And then pictures of his friends around him who did nothing. It's not going to look good. Do you know what I mean? That's just a theory that people have talked about as well. Colette goes on to say, how can they say Jay called Lucy when scene was the other way? The scene was, why can't they see that? A lie, amongst other things, justice for Jay. Do you know what, Colette? Good point there. I do think the Guardia Civil realised, you know, these people went over there to make a little bit of money and business, and they've probably checked Abe's background out and thought, this is over rugs. And then they shied away from the case, and this is why it was always an accident from day one. They put that narrative out there, and now we're seeing something different, and now the news is back on it again. There's something suspicious going on now. Where are the witnesses? But I think the narrative, the Guardia Civil, going to Tenerife, play down to save the island's reputation, that had a lot to do with it. Dazza Boy, you would think Chris and Luggy would attend when they claimed this was an accident. Something is very fishy with these theories. Yeah, and where are they now? Very interesting. Thanks for sharing this. Don't forget Ali's dinner date, Marvin. Yeah, no, sadly we live, I'm in London, so basically we are miles and miles apart. I'm going to have to send her something nice from Marks and Spencer's. Thank you, Ali, and thank you, Dazza Boy. Ruth Molly, how you doing? Did I hear right that his body was in Morocco with her? Ruth, what we're going to do is myself and Ali are going to go back through the Moroccan river so people understand it, because a lot of people have been asking questions about that. But thank you for your support. Warren, I think it won't be long before some CTV comes forward of the night, maybe the kebab shop where Abe said they got food before leaving to go back to the Airbnb. Yeah, Ali did get some information about that. Warren, it is in one of our earlier videos. She did actually talk to someone at a cafe where two cars actually stopped. The manager didn't want to talk to Ali, but one of the assistants did. Jay didn't get the chance to turn his life around, and my heart goes out to Debbie and Zach. Thank you very much for that, Joy. Justin, how you doing? And Jay just wandered astray, fell down a cliff edge and died. What a crock of crap. Yeah, I agree. Thank you, Justin. Helen Young, did not know his name, but he was the mate he met on the plane. I can't understand why CT wasn't to go. It's not surprising, Marvin, what he had in his system. He had a hard trans event, and that's why they take coke, ket, MDMA and alcohol. Plus, it was said saying the 10 quid is used for certain, as that was collaborated from the police. Yeah, interesting. Thank you, Helen. I just think that, Helen, this case is so complex because one, it's got a lot of people involved, and two, we've been sold so many narratives that it sometimes gets confusing. But people, if you're new to this case, go back to the earlier videos. It's very, very important. I'm going to put the Morocco video up because I do think it's important to this case, and obviously the toxicology as well. And there's a lot we have to go through, but like I said, we're going to sift through things with a fine comb, people. Beyond the shadow, when there is any court case requiring witnesses, letters will be issued asking for their availability in advance so dates can be set. This would have been listed well in advance, but not published to the public due to the interested in it. Thankfully, it's been adjourned and the witnesses will be required to attend. Otherwise, they will be in contempt of court and can have a criminal charges brought. And that was one of the reasons why they all went quiet, I think, for the last couple of weeks, because they knew this was coming and they're trying to shut us down, but they couldn't. And do you know what? Because Debbie never really come out and said, look, I want everyone to stop talking about the case. And obviously Warren was talking to Wax. That told me, that gave me inspiration to keep going and talking about this case and getting justice for Jay. Because like I said, I knew they wanted answers. Nick says, we have found Brad like she is some private investigator. I'm sorry, I can't take to this woman at all. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Let her have it, Law. I think she tries, but brain fog sometimes, Law. I knew where he was days ago. Interesting. One of the news reports said True Crime Tom was there. Why didn't he call Rach to say Brad we need, he has said on TT Lives that he talks to her. It's interesting. I think there's a lot of people that know about this case. I do think Pinky Pup that don't talk up because of fear or they're told not to at the end of the day. Look at Down the Rapids, for instance. He told us he got out there in a hurry out of Tenerife and really come out months later and played it down like there was nothing sinister about this case. Really? Rachel says, I think there's no doubt now that there is a cover-up and everything we have been told is BS. All those settings, the narratives, Ophelia did her TV interview but then refused to speak to the family and she treated them appalling. The friends doing TV interviews, A&R, doing all these lives and then none of them turned up today. And did you notice one of the things was watching all of them, you know, your Luggies, your Chris Tenerifes and Rachel, they never made any sense. You never felt that this case was going to be resolved at the end of the day. I felt more angry when it was over, thinking, what did I get out of that? Nothing. Sorry, but this was getting updated. It happened. So why does Ali think she has the only one with this information? Why does Ali think she has inside information about everything? Look, Nick, Ali's got contacts and she does very well for this channel. If you don't want to be here, you don't have to. At the end of the day, if you don't have to support us, there are millions of other channels that you can go to. Ali's made a report. She knows the reporter. We went through everything together. I put the video up. If you don't like it, don't be here. It's simple. Hells, where is the live stream? All spoke of. There are live updates. Most MSM sites. I followed it all, or it was happening. Ketamine can be put in e-cigarettes. Interesting. I didn't even know that. DD64. That's interesting. He retires next week. Apparently interesting. I wonder whether we'll keep on the case or keep coming up. It. Rachel says, uncover the cover-up. Justice for Jay. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, DD64. Warwick. I thought Abe said he didn't have his key card to get into his room. Then Abe involved in throwing Jay off a cliff, and that's that. Well, the problem is, Warwick, what we've got at the end of the day. You know, we gotta have some proof that Jay was Jay was actually in those mountains. You know, we never really have had that. You know, we don't have proof that Jay walked down that road. We've only got Ophelia, which tells me it's fake. Jay was last seen being carried off by two Mali guys. It said, the eyewitness said something happened on the beach. We believe that Jay went back to his apartment. Before that, I was taken back to the apartment by the people who had him. And the altercation happened on the beach and then it went to the Maruba. That's what I think anyway. But like I said, I do think we'll get a little bit more once the witnesses are forced to talk. Charlene, they used the wheelbarrow to dispose of him, I think. But once again, yeah, I understand, Charlene, what you're saying, basically. But I just don't believe he was there because everything was fate. I believe he was there before in the narco Airbnb for business. I believe he went there before and other places in that area, but we'll look into later. But I just can't, there's still no proof that he was there alive or dead. There's no proof. That I'm not dismissing it, but like I said, it's just my view on that. I still stand by it. Wow, this sounds really intense. Some really interesting info and points must have brought to the fore. If that's true about Jay sending a message to Josh saying he'd been marked and they are out to get me, and it's huge because it means someone is going to be an object of an attack of vengeance. It's basically letting someone know that harm is potentially coming your way. If this is the case, then the knives were for his own protection. I think the Rolexes in question, if he said 10 of them, that would indicate it's rugs and not a watch. Also, I think given the numerous rug cocktails in Jay's system, it shows that they would have been self-administered. They were given to him via spike into another means. I think this is massive, and I hope to goodness that Jay gets justice. Thank you very much, Rachel, for your support for a very long time. Leaksy defo sounds like someone was after him. Yeah, I agree. Christy, cool. I agree. Alex replying that Jay definitely knew he was in danger. I'm so glad Debbie's pressing for answers from the witnesses that failed to appear. Yeah, because they don't give a toss, but they'll give a toss when they're in court. Lucy and Brad posted on TikTok that she had lost the best friend, but they don't turn up for the inquest. Yeah, because they don't care. They just built that way, people, at the end of the day, because they all think they're gangsters. Hi Marvin, Jay met Josh on the plane to Tenerife. Apparently they swapped Snapchat addresses, and this is how he was getting these messages, calls and pictures. He was mentioned in some messages previously that has been screenshot and passed around, but the name was scribbled out though. Thank you very much. So another acquaintance. Yeah, serendipity. Pinky Putt, strange that who Jay chose to message and he was marked. It was just somebody random he met at an airport. Yeah, I always thought that there's something suspicious about that, but like I said, hopefully something will come around. It is odd. It is, as there was a reply to that. It is odd. Skip Raider in my tune, JJ. Thank you for that, Little Miss Madden, and thank you for your full support. Monochrome, I think the word we're looking for is subpoena, Ali. Yeah, thank you very much. It's funny, Myrna, because like I said, or Marina, like I said, it's funny that because like I said, Ali had been working so hard on this case from the morning to the evening, and like I said, it's just been manic. Just so much information was coming in. Richard, how you doing? Is anyone talking about Shajiska at all? As still there is nobody, which is very concerning. What has that lad been doing, and have her parents spoke to yet? I'm sure she was trafficked out, the poor girl. Yeah, I will. To be honest, Richard, I've been so busy on other cases. I will definitely come back to the Shadisha Kanaki case. Lorna Burnett, thank you, Ali, for those updates, and both of you for not giving up. Thank you, Lorna, for your support. Sam goes on to say, so have the inquest said a watch was found with Jay, because he said he did have a watch, and Abe said, come to Masca to sell it to my mate, then robbed Jay and pushed him, would be a motive. I don't know, would Abe really do that? I just think he was handed over to somebody else that wanted him over rugs. That's my version, but there's so many versions of events, and the watch wasn't found with Jay. Someone had taken the watch. It's possible. Anything's possible in this case, people. Kazaru goes on to say Josh is the one who met Jay at the airport and met at the festival for swapping contact details. Look on Mark's facts on Vision Post. I don't really listen to Mark, to be honest with you. Hope Brad or Lucy tells the whole truth. Did they even know that is at the point? Do they even know what that is at this point? Yeah. Helen Young, Brad and Lucy have evaded this inquest. My son lost his best mate and we attended the inquest, and there's no way I would have booked anything for my son to go on holiday. Rachel and Debbie cannot be close as made to believe. That's well said, Helen. Thank you. No Brandon or CT or DTR. Yeah, so glad it's been adjourned and Debbie wants to speak to Abe and Rocky. Excellent. Has Brandon been called as a witness? We don't know that. Thank you, Hayley. Good to hear from you. Patricia, Rachel, all of them were Abe, Stephen, Lucy, Brad and Brandon. Also Roman, Ophelia and Leo. Wonder if Ophelia is going to be called up. Ophelia should be. She was the last to see him and spoke with him. I doubt she'll come, to be honest with you. Ophelia is listed as Lucia. Interesting. I have a little more faith in the law at the time. Only a tiny. Yeah, that's good. We got to have faith. Little Miss Madhead, and keep going forward for justice for Jay Peter. Does this mean his organs, body parts have been returned? Also, was he dead before he received his head injuries? I think he was, Peter. I truly think he was. I know it happened it happened in the Airbnb, put in the car and thrown or pushed off that cliff. Then his stuff after. No chance did he walk off a cliff. Death, not an accident. I don't know whether it happened at the Airbnb. I'm still open to it, Lindsay, but like I said, there's still really no proof he was actually there. All we've got is Ophelia, and I believe, not too sure about Ophelia. I believe she would do anything for Roman because they're family, and I believe the rest of them are career criminals. Little Miss Madad, Karit Ali, yeah, we've got that. Duncan's let us know that. Guys, that is everything. Thank you very much indeed. Marie Jones, Little Miss Madad, thank you. Myrna Kroom, thank you. Lindsay, Peter, Rachel, Vid00, so many, Patricia, Haley, Helen, Lorraine, Kazaru, Sam, Lorna, Richard, Serendipity, Pinky Pup, Christy, Jacqueline, so many of you, Avalat, Leaksy, and a lot of new subscribers as well. Rachel, Charlene, thank you. Warwick, DD64, good to hear from you again. Beyond the Shadow Official, thank you. Pinky Pup, Helen Young, Justin, good to hear from you. Joy, Warren, Ruth, thank you for subscribing. Dazzle Boy, brilliant messages, my friend, keep them coming. Melanie Granger, Colette, Pinky Pup, been with me a long time. Daniel Kelly, Colette, also Madeline Post, thank you for your great messages. Danielle, how you doing? Dawn, Charlene again, Jacqueline, thank you. Beef, UASBTW, thank you. Mike, Jake's brilliant messages. Really thank you for your support. I know you really want justice for Jay. Ian, Mark, thank you. Leaksy, good to hear from you. Claire, Katie Crosland, been with me. Christine Bates, thank you. Carney, thank you. Katie again. Joy Wing, Anita, been with me a while now. Thank you. Sandra, Joy, thank you. Great support, Joy. Trisha, thank you, great support. Anita again, been with me a while. Avalet, thank you for support. George, thank you. CH1123ABC, thank you for your support. You've been with me a while now. Star's been there as well. Charlene again. PJM, thank you for your support. Kathleen as well, been with me a while. Thank you for all your great messages. One Can, Leanne, thank you for coming over to Streamline Entertainment. Jane's there. Erica, thank you for support. Crackdown, thank you for support. Samantha's there. Millennia Doom Scroller, thank you. Only One Marge, thank you for coming across to Streamline Entertainment. Crazy Cat, you've been with me for a while. Thank you for your support. Lisa Griffiths, Debbie Fox, another one. Atlantic Blue, really, really good support. Thank you for coming across to Streamline Entertainment and those who's been with me a long time as well. We march on justice for Jay Slater and respect for Debbie for coming out, because like I said, I think there's a lot more to come in this case, people. Thank you.